There's only been a couple of times where I have been trending on Pinside, but I think this is probably the most that I've trended. It's considered a hot topic. There's good, there's bad, and there's some ugly, and we're going to go through it, guys. Here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel where I talk and do everything pinball. So if that sounds good to you, then hit that subscribe button down below. I'm drinking a blueberry cake donut stout. It's got 8% alcohol content in it. It's okay. I've had better. Now, it's not uncommon that I receive criticism, I'm going to use that word, on Pinside or on other forums as well. And typically, not by me requesting it, but I do get notified, whether it be personal message, even text messaging, about, hey, just so you know, so-and-so said this or whatever. And like 99% of the time, guys, I'm like, okay, people are free to say whatever they want. I'm all about freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. My only problem is if people are lying. That is where I have to feel like I step in and need to say something. So during this whole thing that's on Pinside, or still at least at this time, I didn't feel a need for me to actually step in and say anything, because a lot of these were all people's opinions and thoughts towards me, and you all have every right to have those opinions. So be it. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. So by the time I even started reading this thread that got started, I'm guessing late last night, it was already a couple of pages in. So by the time I got notified, hey, just so you know, there's a thread going on about you right now, I'm like, oh, great, here we go. And honestly, reading through this, I laughed a lot. And I'm one of those that can take the criticism, guys. I can. And that's the thing, is that in order to be on YouTube, putting yourself out there, you have to have thick skin. You have to. There is no way that you can be liked by everyone. I get it. That is, I've stated this before. I don't think I've stated it here, but I want to say I've stated it on Pinside, is that I understand for those of you out there that do not, I guess, give me enough time to grow on you, because I do give really bad first impressions. I really do. It was one of those things where, and I've stated this before, I'm surprised that my wife even gave me a shot, because, and the only reason why I think that happened is because we were forced to be around each other in college. So that is why that is the way it is. So let it be known that that's probably how I ended up where I'm at with her, with kids and everything, is because she had no choice but to be around me. But even then, a lot of my good friends today will, I guess, all agree that I am not one of those people that you first meet or hear and like. I don't know what it is. It's been a curse since as far back as I can remember. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I look. Maybe it's the way I sound, don't know. But I agree that I do not rub people the right way whenever you first discover me. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go through this currently 4-page thread. And I'm just going to nitpick. I've already gone through and I've noted which ones I want to point out. So some of you haters out there are going to get a little bit of a spotlight. You're going to get your time in the sun here just for a moment. You're welcome. But just to show you that, I'm going to give you the good and the bad and everything on here. I'm not going to give you all the rainbows and everything and show oh, look what people are saying about me. No, I'm going to show you some items that I thought were pretty funny, some points that were valid, and some points that I feel like need a little bit more clarity to it. So let's start it off here where it says the original poster, Swampfire. Now, Swampfire, I need to message you. But going through this, it looks like you've kind of already come to terms with what's going on, and you... That being said, I'll message you actually probably when I get finished recording this, just to give you a heads up on here. Definitely no harsh feelings from me or anything about it. Like I said, it's your opinion. You have your right to it. That's fine. But I feel like this might be an entertaining video to a lot of you out there, especially you Pinsiders that can't make it 2 minutes into my damn videos, because you might have a small cameo in here. Anyways, the number 1 post, let's start with this one. It starts out where it says, all right, I know it's against the rules to call someone out, but I'm pulling the public figure card. Cary, I love your production standards, but dude, it seems like every new Stern has a fatal flaw for you. I get it. The 90s had some great games. I have a few myself, though my collection is mostly pre-DMD. Here's the thing. I was totally psyched about Led Zeppelin Premium. I went to my friend's house and played this LE and had a blast playing it. Then I watched the review, and it sucked out every ounce of joy I'd had. There's no way I'd buy an LZ now. And they were on the top of my 5 bands growing up in the late 70s. All the joy, totally gone. Is your assessment right? Maybe some of it, but was relentlessly negative. Plan B. Stranger Things Premium. Let's see what Cary thinks about this one. The thread for Stranger Things on Pinside has the ebb and flow of what I can only parallel to as basically the remission and relapse of cancer. Not only have I lost interest in this game, but I've honestly lost interest even looking at the forum thread about it. Are you kidding me? At least half of that review was about how the older Brian Eddy games were all better, or hammering Stern about gameplay issues. No sir, I will not buy into this dystopian vision. From now on, I'll play the game and make up my own mind. Maybe with some input from the STDM reviews. I do respect your retro lineup, your production quality, and your independent control of your eyebrows. I cannot respect your pessimism. And that's how it began. So if there's anything that I guess I need to point out here is that, yes, so you're stating that you played your Led Zeppelin Premium, and I actually know you played an LE and you're wanting to get a Premium. And of course, in my LZ video that I played the game, I only played the Pro. I did not comment further on the Premium or an LE because that's all I've played. I haven't played the Premium or LE. And then when it goes on to the Stranger Things, yeah, I'm not going to lie. There's been plenty of videos where I do talk a little smack about Stranger Things. And it's one of those things where I have to ask, can you honestly tell me that all of Brian Eddy's previous games, that Stranger Things is better than those? With a straight face, look me in the eyes, can you honestly tell me that Stranger Things is his best game? I don't think so. In my opinion, no. I think it's his worst. Is it the worst game? No. But if you're wanting to pinpoint a designer, I feel that, in my experience with the game thus far, that is his worst one. Now, granted, also, I still get people commenting about Stranger Things towards me, and even just recent comments within the last week or so about how I was wrong about Stranger Things and how it's a great game now that the code is done. Okay, I played it whenever it was merely a couple of months out from being launched, and the code was definitely still pretty shallow. I just needed to wait evidently over a year for the game to be complete on code, and now it should be good to go. The thing is, I don't know if that's actually going to fix it for me, because my main complaint with Stranger Things was just the layout in general. It wasn't the code. I wasn't having fun with how the game shot. That was me. So I don't think that code's going to fix that for me. I could be wrong, but how I'm feeling right now, I don't think it's going to fix it for me. If I ever get a chance to play a Stranger Things again with updated code, by all means, I will let everyone know if my mind has been changed or does it remain the same. So the next comment I've got on here is post number 2 from Adel75 that reads, "Playing a game and making up your own mind probably was where you should have started from. If all it takes to kill your excitement is a YouTube video, you must have a hard time making choices." That particular post has 99 upvotes. Damn. Going on to post number 6 from Yoko to Una. So, as someone who doesn't give an F about rando YouTubers, I've just recently learned who this Hardy guy is. And then there's some other nobody coming up in my YouTube recommendations too. Hardy is apparently the nobody with a really expensive gaming chair and is a try hard to be funny. I think in the Deep Root thread he has mentioned to be at that horrible launch that they backtracked. And then there's this guy with a similar looking dark game room channel where all the thumbnails look like some Match.com sketch guy who wants you to try this drink you never saw poured. But come on, trust him. This comment right here. Oh man, I literally laughed out loud because I know who he's talking about. It's my buddy Travis. It's got to be him. If it's not him, then it might be somebody else. But that was a good one. So if I'm gonna give you a shout out here, Travis. Good or bad, here you go. So you got Marv Logo on YouTube. It does his podcast and he has his videos as well. And his typical thumbnail is something like this. A Match.com sketch guy. If anything else, since he's from Oklahoma, I'm going to harp on you some more here, Travis. I think it'd be probably farmersonly.com kind of look. But continuing on with his this post here, both of those guys aren't needed and redundant 1,000 times over in this hobby. Play a game. Do you like it or not? If so, buy it. If not, don't. Don't let some YouTube nobody, probably with an agenda, sway your opinion. They're looking to be provocative for clicks. Similarly, don't listen to shills that may or may not be distributors for their everything is awesome recommendations. Play and decide on your own. Only way to know, you end up with something you like. Going on to post number 7 from Dakota Mike. First of all, LOL. Secondly, although they have their fans, you picked 2 of the least well-received Stern pins of the last couple of years to judge Cary's reviews on. Third, why would Cary's negative review of Led Zeppelin stop you from buying it, unless he was telling the truth and actually made some good points? Lastly, I find it a little amusing that you felt the need to announce that you're not watching Cary's reviews anymore. Doesn't seem like it warrants a whole thread, unless you were trying to start a larger discussion about pinball reviews or something. So on this, I have to agree with you, Dakota Mike, that definitely Stranger Things and Led Zeppelin are the 2 games out of that particular time frame that have not been well received by the majority, at least. So it is kind of funny that those are the 2 games that I'm being spotlighted on with me talking about. And so if you're going just mainly by those 2 videos, then yes, I will seem very pessimistic and just seem like I'm just crapping all over Stern, but that's not the case. I mean, I talk good about TMNT. That's brought up later on in the comment and everything. As far as Avengers Infinity Quest, I need to get a video out on that, guys. I've actually need to get a video out discussing a lot of other games for those that care to watch them. But I do have my thoughts and opinions that are different on Avengers Infinity Quest because I've played it quite a bunch, and including even Rick and Morty. I need to talk about that. Got an invite for a Guns N' Roses CE, and I need to get that done as well. Just got to find the time. Well, we're going to go on to the next one from post number 8. It's pretty simple, really. Awesome review means I need to check it out. Shitty review means I need to check it out. Touché. And then Swampfire posted on number 9, merely an hour after his original post. I'll put the whole thing up on here, but I'm not going to read. I'm going to pick in just certain sections of certain comments out, guys, because this video I feel like is already going to be long enough as it is. He's like, I don't think YouTubers have an obligation to sugarcoat their reviews. I just think that there's such a thing as too much criticism. And I wouldn't have posted this at all if I thought Cary Hardy was a rando. I think a lot of people watch his videos and make decisions based on them. And honestly, Swampfire, this is factual. And I say it's factual because I do get emails, messages. People contact me for my thoughts about certain games. Whether it be they should go for the Pro or Premium on particular titles, and definitely with TMNT because I actually own the game and did a review on it. So there are people out there. Now, whether or not I am their sole person that they go to make that decision, I don't know, but people do contact me to get my opinions on certain titles. Skipping on down to number 13 from Calf Demon. I still don't quite understand how you played the game and loved it, and then let someone else's opinion of it ruin your enthusiasm for it. Most games are subjective, and while there are a few true loser games out there, the rest of them work for some people and are duds for others. And that is true even for the top-rated games. The Addams Family, Twilight Zone, are loved by many, and while I respect them, they do nothing for me. So if you played Led Zeppelin and had a blast, why does his opinion of it mean anything to you? And it's one of those things where this type of comment is going to be scattered through the whole thread, guys. A lot of people do have the same thoughts about this particular thing. Basically, in a nutshell, don't make your decisions based on YouTubers or other people. You make up your own mind. And I stress that constantly in my videos.
I highly recommend you play it first just for your own sake. Not only do I look out for myself when it comes to where my money goes, but I look out for everyone else.
I have never told people to not buy a game. I merely just talk about a game and how I feel about it, my thoughts and opinions, and that usually gets people thinking about it, whether or not, hey, you know what, that's a valid point, or two, it's something that's not going to bother them or whatever. But in the end, the decision is up to you guys on whether you should buy it, and it's also going to be up to you whether or not you feel like it's a good game. Moving on to post number 17 from Swampfire. Now, Swampfire's next post on number 17 is where I feel like he starting to feel like he made a mistake by starting the thread. He's like, well, okay, I think he actually had some good points for Led Zeppelin. Maybe he saved me some money down the road. He just made me realize that this Stern is kind of stripped down. I don't know, man. I'm just discouraged, and I realize now that I've started a ridiculous thread, and I'm sorry. And to be frank, and I stated in the video, Led Zeppelin Pro is stripped down. It's friggin' bare. I honestly feel that if they... I'm repeating myself because I say it in the video, but if they would have left the wire form return ramp on that side shot, then I would be much more okay with the Pro. I'd be like, all right, but it's just that one thing they took out that really killed it for me. I mean, everything else, I'm like, okay, it's an average game. It's like right there in the middle. If you enjoy the game, so be it. But the Pro is stripped, guys. Stripped. It really is. Very barren, in my opinion. Skipping on down to post number 31, Rockford Replay. Cary is more of a machine tech who includes a variety of I gotta get this off my chest videos, not necessarily a means to influence our purchases. I would agree with that statement. My first experience with Cary arrived years ago on Straight Down the Middle. I didn't receive him well. Like I stated before earlier, guys, I don't get received well. But discovered a guy who shares his work in restoring pinball machines. As the years passed, I acquired an appreciation for him. I do feel he's a little bitter or something, maybe pessimistic, but have grown a great respect for the rebuilds he shares. I wish he provided more detail on his work, maybe even played a few games while he's talking. For 2021, I support his Patreon and hope we'll have more people in the community that share their builds. I think he's a great guy, and I feel it's foolish for us to let him make our decisions. Well, thank you, Rockford Replay, for supporting me on Patreon. I will say that I do agree with you that I should be providing more details about my work. This is honestly a flaw that I have in my own mind when it comes to doing a lot of the work I do on these machines. I get so caught up in what I'm doing that I honestly forget that I need to record and show these things to you guys. It's just I get really into a project and all I can focus on is what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. It's a flaw. I'm working on it. I want to improve. So I'm hoping to get better at that. So something to look forward to. Moving on to post number 37. I have never made it through more than the first 3 minutes of one of his videos. His contrived acrimony and self-absorbed hand-wringing gets old quick. I always wonder why someone with such confidence in trashing others' creations doesn't build his own pen to show Steve Ritchie and Brian Eddy how it's done. I mean, self-absorbed? I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Because everything I do is for everyone else. There's plenty of videos that I've got that you don't even see me in. It's merely just a voiceover. So, but you would know that if you spent more than the first couple of minutes watching and maybe fully watched them all the way through, but okay. Moving on to the next comment. So, by WGPE, post number 43, Canada, Minnie and his actor sidekick, Todd Tucky, fingernail painting extraordinaire Jack Danger, with all the cool guys talking pins, why would anyone watch little Cary? Ouch. Moving on to post 46 by 2084. Cary is just another wannabe YouTube star. Like all of them, his focus is on himself with his name and big stylized logo, close-ups of his head, and frequent urgings to hit the subscribe button. His expletive-ridden feigned indignation at the latest pinball announcement and overacted conversations he imagines might have happened at Stern seem to have found a small niche. He doesn't review games as much as he reviews teaser videos and echoes the opinion of the hour on Pinside. If people find that entertaining, fine. But I can't believe the original poster decided not to buy a game he wanted to base on. His focus is on himself with his name and big stylized logo. Everyone that has their own channel has a brand. I've got a logo, yes. And a lot of times it's got to be big, but it's not like it's like constantly up in the middle of the screen. But evidently there's close-ups of my head. So, is my head too big for you guys? I know on my Stranger Things video, I tried one time with a setup, and I'll never do it again. It was one of those things in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, that was a bad layout, so that won't happen again. Overacted conversations that he's talking about my skits that I do. They're supposed to be overacted. That's part of the thing. That's what it is. I mean, it's not meant to be taken seriously, guys. It's a parody skit for a reason. Once again, to provide entertainment for you out there, but it's all about me, guys. We are now on to page 2 of this thread, post number 51 by Dan Marino. Dan Marino? Were the laces in or out?
The laces were in! They were in!
I enjoyed the Led Zepp Pro machine that I played. I'm too cheap and not wealthy enough to buy new machines. I enjoy watching pinball-related YouTube videos. Carl Hardy is fine. I wish I made my living doing what he does, instead of my normal job. I wonder if his YouTube persona is acting, and if he is like that all the time. I'm glad there is YouTube content related to pinballs, reviewing machines, and repairing them. People complain about everything these days. Pinball helps me escape the lame stuff that goes on in the world. I played Iron Maiden recently and liked the game, but hated the music and theme. Ugh. So, just so we're clear, guys, I do not make a living doing pinball stuff and or YouTube. There is no way that I could make a living, nor would I even want to. I have been asked that, would you want to do full-time YouTube? And God, no. That would be awful. Horrible. That would be, it's because it wouldn't be fun. It would no longer be a hobby. I do this because it's fun. And like, it's just something just to pass the time a lot of the times. And just because I'm passionate about the hobby, but I do not do this for money. because there is none. The only money that I actually really obtain, I do get a little bit of YouTube money, but it's so few and far between because you have to make a certain amount per month for you to actually get a check. And if you don't make anything or enough for that month, then it basically is going to roll over to the next month. It's all convoluted YouTube stuff. But in a nutshell, no, YouTube does not pay my bills. It barely fills up even the tank of my car and gas. But what does help is my Patreon supporters, and just recently I used the money for that to help my future content by purchasing a device that allows me to get much smoother recordings, as well as being able to follow my movements, so that way I'm able to be more mobile and still provide better content down the road. So yeah, lost complete idea of what I was talking about here. I wonder if his YouTube persona is acting and if he is like that all the time. Now, I'm not really sure how to take that. I mean, honestly, guys, when I'm here in front of you and speaking the way I am, this is not much different than how I am in real life. Some of you out there have met me in real life, and I believe that how I am in talking is how I am in front of the camera. Those of you who have met me, feel free to comment down below just to verify. It's not much different here. I'm not acting, so whether that's a good thing or bad thing, I'm sorry, but I prefer and am honest as I possibly can be. I don't want to lie because I do not want to have to remember, guys. That is a thing. So when I talk about games and how I feel about stuff, it is what it is and how I feel, because I don't want to lie about it, because then I'm going to forget how I lied about it. I don't lie because I don't want to have to remember. I got a bunch of other crap I got to worry about in my life, and whether or not I remembered I said I liked this game or didn't. That's just not how I am. Moving on. Post number 55 from Dung. Only learned about this guy recently, made it 2 minutes into a video and turned it off. You know what? I made it one sentence into your post and I'm not even going to continue it. Moving on. Post 57. Didn't Cary only review LZ Pro? That is correct. Seriously, the main complaints are the dead-end shot, only Pro, and that one feature that is not advertised, ramp shootable from every flipper. Both is not an opinion, and as you said, you wanted a premium anyway. And yes, he is kind of harsh, often it's funny, and a parody, sometimes just bitter. I wanted the Black Knight Sword of Rage. Cary jumped a bit with his opinion, coming from the announcement to the reveal and his first gameplay, LE. Only sad thing is, when his resume is Pro is probably the way to go. But he never follows up and plays that. What you're finding when you newly drop in a bunch of videos regarding the same game that are all over the place, so just not the ideal source for reviews. Okay, so there's a little bit scattered out there in that sentence, but yeah, this is true. When Black Knight Sword of Rage got revealed, I was super excited about the game, guys. I really did want it, and then when I watched the gameplay, I no longer wanted it. I was not impressed with the upper playfield. It wasn't for me. So I changed my mind, and I haven't just been able to play a Pro. I haven't been able to come across one. Maybe down the road I will play a Pro, but that's where I'm at on that. On to post 59 from the Beef Supreme. I'm new to the hobby, but I like Cary's content. A review is just someone's opinion. He is at least explaining why he doesn't like certain things. His Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review was really positive. I haven't had the easiest time finding pinball reviews and decent content on YouTube, so I appreciate that he is putting out there. I also don't think he tries to overdo it with the comedy, which is really annoying in some other videos. Thanks. Moving on to post 61 and 62, these can be combined by Doug Ram 69. That Cary Hardy guy is the worst. He is all about making controversy. Noise is ordered to be relevant. He teases you with something he is going to reveal or say, and then takes 20 minutes to say it. Keeps repeating himself just to stretch it out. He thinks he is being smart, but instead he's just pissing people off. Total waste of time. Note, lots of time he is negatively reviewing a game without even playing it. He makes a judgment based on preliminary picks. That doesn't seem right to me. Okay. There are some valid points, I guess, and some things I do agree with this. There have been times, and I know this myself, that by doing the editing process, that I do repeat myself. It's a flaw. I'm going to work on it. I don't agree with how it takes me 20 minutes to say it because I prefer my videos to be short. But this video is probably going to be 20 minutes at least. That's what it seems like. And as far as making judgment on preliminary picks, yeah, I did that with Turtles. I made that mistake. And I made a follow-up video by stating how wrong I was for doing that. So I think that was at least right, admitting when I made a mistake. Post number 65 from Caucasian Two-Step. Mother of God. OMG. There is no way I'm reading all of this. God. Moving on to post number 68 from Jeff's Pinball Palace. Cary's reviews mentioned are examples of someone giving it to you as they see it, also known as an honest review. I believe he is sincere from watching his videos and that he believes what he says. So if you're looking for a good, accurate review, Cary Hardy's videos are a good place to start. If you want a slightly positively tilted review, then visit Straight Down the Middle. They do realistic reviews, but most games end up with a B to B-, and they underweight mechanical issues. As a result, Straight Down the Middle review of Stranger Things featured gameplay footage, while Cary got hung up on the mechanical problems and technology that wasn't working. As everyone says, you need to play it before you buy or pay. However, this brings up an issue. If you are interested in buying a hot new LE, you most likely won't have a chance to play first. If you were a potential buyer for Stranger Things LE, you'd be thankful to have found Cary's reviews, which came out early. You'd want to be aware of the mechanical hazards, especially as it involved the main toy. You'd want to know the light show was a bust. Same points apply to Led Zeppelin LE too. Day 1 code was a bust and lack of good artwork was controversial. Warp playfields, he says, yep. That wasn't in Stern's launch video. So Cary captured these points. I have convinced myself to seek out Cary's reviews on all new games. Thanks, Jeff's Pinball Palace, for the compliments there. Moving on to number 76 from Dr. Pin. I don't think anybody with half a brain aspiring to become a YouTube star does pinball stuff. Yeah, there you go. Without a doubt, Dr. Penn, I completely agree with you right there. Moving on to 83. I don't know Cary. Never met Cary. Haven't watched a video he's done, so his YouTube videos and streams just aren't my thing. I'm more of a listening to a podcast in my car guy, so I have no horse in this race. I'm going to try to make this a little bit quicker, guys, because it's already getting late for me. Basically, he states that he appreciates those that do contribute to the hobby by creating content, and then he states here, it must suck to be Cary to wake up to read this because he's passionate about pinball, so thanks, Cary. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, right here he also states, personally, I think it would have been more respectable to maybe send Cary an email with some constructive feedback, your opinion, than put a post up publicly bitching about the guy who does this for, what, no money? Okay, that is correct. Pretty much, yeah. There's no money in this. But later on, you see that the original poster does clarify that, it was late. He may have had a few to drink. But, and we've all made mistakes. I have made mistakes with videos, guys. But the most important thing is you own it, which he does later on, and we'll get to it. So, post 88. I love that some people are posting that Cary is just being negative and harsh for the clicks. There isn't a single pinball YouTuber that makes any real money off their videos, let alone to live off of. Yep. The idea that Cary's being sensational for the attention is laughable. Cary seems genuine to me. He doesn't have any ties to manufacturers, and he doesn't have to play nice to get interviews or other perks. He's a solid pinball tech who restores a lot of games and does clear-coding playfield swaps and hate routes games as well. So I think he brings a different perspective than a lot of other pinball reviewers. Thank you, Dakota Mike, for those. I would agree with a good portion of that. I do a lot of stuff in this hobby, and for little glory, if not at all. Moving on to post 90. This is where I believe he realizes that he made a mistake by posting it for sure. I apologize for starting this thread while I was drinking last night, and I just realized the irony. I'm doing to Cary what Cary sometimes does to Stern, harping on the negative while minimizing the positive. For what it's worth, I put the iPad down last night. I played every one of my pins. That's what I should have done instead of starting this thread. Sorry for ragging on you, Cary. All right. So there he goes. He owns up to it. So that's good. I just need to read the first sentence of this next comment. How meta is complaining about another's complaints? It's like saying, I hate how this guy hates. So now we have a I hate how this hater hates thread on a forum where everyone seems to hate everything and everyone who doesn't hate the same way or the same things they hate. Yep, that's what this is. Moving on to post. What is this? I think, yeah, it went off the topic here for a good while, I want to say. They started talking about other things and other games and other things. 116. I just watched CH's 2 videos about Stranger Things and Led Zeppelin and came to the realization that his videos are actually very helpful to me. From now on, I'll be sure to buy every game he hates. Beelzebub, touche. Nice. Moving on to post 125. Does this Cary girl ever show any TNA? If not, I'm out. My mother named me after Cary Grant. Then it got off topic for a really good while, guys, talking about Ghostbusters and stuff like that. But we move on to post number 170. This is when Cause chimes in. I'm surprised that the captain hasn't commented on this thread. Maybe we'll see a new video or skit reenactment. Maybe. And then finally, we're going to end this on his basically final portion, at least at this portion in time. It's not a personal attack. I think Cary's a great vlogger, and I assume he can handle some criticism of his review style. Swampfire, you are correct. I can take criticism. If I couldn't, then I would have gotten out a long time ago. And it's sad that we have honestly lost some people in this hobby that used to be content creators due to the negative feedback from the public. Haters, if you will. And it's sad that some of them have chosen to step away from this hobby because of the kind of people out there. And some of those were ones that I was reading off. They're out there. You just got to push through kind of thing. I'm all about taking criticism. I'm up for it. But I do even better when it's constructive criticism. Just saying. So that was pretty much it, guys. That was the thread on Pinside that's considered to be a hot topic at this point in time. The thread will die eventually, like all threads do, except for Deeproot. That thread just keeps going and going, it seems. Won't die. So Swampfire, and to all others out there that put in what I guess a lot of people would consider negative words towards me, no hard feelings. Like I stated earlier in this video, I'm all about freedom of speech. You have every right to state how you feel about my content or me. That is your opinion. The same goes for how I state and have my opinions towards these games, because I believe that I should have that right to talk about these games. And whether or not you agree or disagree, that's what the comment section in the videos are for, is letting me know. And we can have a discussion about that in those videos. So look, guys, when it comes to me talking about these games, it's one of those where, like someone stated, I make some of these videos, I've got to get this off my chest. I just need to talk about this. And I am no different than any of you out there. I'm really not. I'm a pinball enthusiast who's got a YouTube channel. My comments and opinions are no different than a lot of you out there with your own thoughts and opinions. And it's completely okay if you do not agree with me all the time or at all. That's the joy about this hobby, is that everyone has different feelings about a game. You can't control how people feel about a game, but what you can control is how you react to how they feel about a game. Swampfire, no hard feelings or anything like that. I'll send you a message here in a bit. But yeah, everyone out there, just be you, enjoy playing the games, and it's okay if others don't agree with how you feel. Until next time, guys, peace out.